They called it the Unifying Equation. Not because it was supposed to unify math, but because if solved, it would unite reality, stitch together physics and perception, chaos and structure, time and space. The equation was first discovered, or rather noticed, by the Ardentari, a crystalline species who saw the world through vibrations in light. They detected a repeating pattern buried in neutrino drift, subtle, infinite, mocking. It behaved like a paradox folded into a question that couldn't be asked unless you already knew the answer. No one had written it. It was there, embedded in the lattice of the universe, like an ancient joke waiting for someone to laugh. That was 400 galactic standard years ago. Since then, every advanced species had tried to solve it. The best minds of the Silex dynasties, the immortal AI of Cauldron V, the hive thinkers of Oral, they all fell short. Some tried brute force computation. Some tried meditative mathematics. Others tried worship. The results were always the same. The closer they came to solving it, the more unpredictable their models became. Simulations imploded. Labs vanished. A species known as the Jaildon went extinct trying to anchor the equation to a physical constant. One of their moons disappeared mid-equation. It became a warning. Entire galactic laws were passed forbidding deep interaction with the unifying equation. And yet, the obsession continued. The Galactic Council housed the equation in Vault 12 on Valar Prime, inside a containment chamber surrounded by entropy-dampening fields and time-anchored memory seals. The chamber had not been opened in decades, until the day the humans arrived. Earth had only recently joined the Union. Primitive by some standards, unpredictable by all, humanity had impressed no one with their chaotic politics, flawed biology, or sarcastic mannerisms. Their greatest strength was being underestimated. No one even noticed when Earth sent a mathematician to observe the vault. His name was Trevor Hensley. He had no titles, no degrees recognized by the Council, and no reputation outside a minor Earth award in nonlinear solution artistry. He wore a worn hoodie with a faded logo of a bear sipping coffee and the words, "Don't ask me, I'm counting." And he was drunk. Not aggressively, not sloppily, but chemically, undeniably drunk. The Valori guards almost denied him entry until they checked the diplomatic override embedded in his clearance chip. Earth had insisted. Every species gets one look, the treaty said, even if the species doesn't know what it's looking at. And so, they let him in. The chamber's sterile light painted him in reflections. The equation hovered before him, not in symbols, but in expressions, like thoughts carved from logic and possibility. It pulsed. It waited. Trevor blinked. He swayed slightly. Is it supposed to wiggle? He asked no one. The Council's Minders watched from a safe distance, expecting nothing. Another tourist. Another soon-to-be traumatized observer. They couldn't have been more wrong. Trevor stepped closer. "You know," he mumbled, "this looks a bit like a kernel panic I got once. Only like, inside out." He reached into his bag and pulled out a crumpled napkin. Then he borrowed a stylus from the wall console. The system flagged it. The Council AI raised a minor alarm. No one was supposed to edit the projection. It would destabilize. Trevor didn't notice. Or didn't care. He tapped one of the floating expressions. "This part," he said, "it's pretending to be a variable, but it's gaslighting itself." He drew a connecting line, breaking every containment rule. The lights dimmed. Time stuttered. For precisely 0.0037 seconds, the chamber didn't exist. And then, it did. The equation stabilized. A portion of it folded inward, smoothing. The chamber's alarms went silent. The Council's quantum anchor core rebooted itself. No one moved. No one breathed. Trevor tilted his head, squinting. "Ha," he said. "That's weird." He made 2 more edits, connecting variables through what looked like chaotic feedback, except the chaos didn't collapse. It harmonized. Slowly. Gracefully. The equation shifted color. Then it began to sing. Not in sound, but in shape. It vibrated through dimensions the observers didn't even perceive. The Council's AI core blinked out, returned, and posted a single sentence, "Solution detected." Parsing final layer. The Council panicked. They launched emergency containment drones, activated failsafes, began purging local spacetime records. Too late. The equation had solved itself the moment Trevor nudged it. It was as if the universe had been waiting for someone to be foolish, brilliant, and unbalanced enough to just try the wrong thing that turned out right. Trevor sat down on the floor. "Oh man," he said, "I think I need water." Then he passed out. 3 hours later, he awoke in a hospital wing. The room was bright, clinical, and filled with very nervous aliens. A Valori elder sat near his bed. She looked at him like he was a neutron bomb wrapped in denim. "What did you do?" she asked. Trevor blinked. "Solved it." "You solved the unifying equation." "That's impossible. I didn't know it was called that." He rubbed his eyes. "I just saw a pattern. It felt lonely, like it was trying to reach for itself, but nobody let it." She stared. "You anthropomorphized a galactic-level mathematical structure." "I gave it a hug," he said. "Sort of." What followed was chaos. Controlled, weaponized, bureaucratic chaos. Species that had spent centuries chasing the equation now demanded access to Trevor. Intelligence agencies offered him planets. Religious orders worshipped him. Several AIs declared him their paradoxical father. Earth's status in the Galactic Union jumped overnight. No longer primitive, humans were now the species that solved the unsolvable. Universities across the stars created departments based on his methodology, disordered insight. The term Trevoring entered the lexicon. It meant solving something by being so irrational that the problem gave up. Of course, they tried to replicate it. They tested his brain, ran scans, asked him to solve similar problems. He rarely did. Most of the time, he shrugged. "It just looked like something I shouldn't fix, so I fixed it." The council tried to codify his process. They failed. It wasn't logic. It wasn't genius. It was him. A drunk human with a mind wired like jazz and dreams. Eventually, a theory emerged. One that scared some and fascinated others. The unifying equation wasn't just a riddle. It was a filter. A test written by the universe itself to see which species were capable not of brilliance, but of imperfection without collapse. To see who could make sense of nonsense and survive. Humans, messy and chaotic, were the first to pass. One scientist said, other species tried to tame the storm. Trevor danced in it. In time, new technologies emerged. Instant compression. Infinite drive navigation. Reality-stable quantum states. Civilizations shifted. The stars bent slightly. And in a quiet corner of Earth, Trevor reopened his old bar. He called it the Constant. Every night, he served drinks to locals, sometimes to aliens passing through. Some asked for answers. He gave them a smile and a refill. When reporters came, he gave them no interviews. When governments asked for help, he sent them riddles. The universe, once silent, now seemed to whisper to humans. And it all started because one drunk man looked at an impossible question and didn't see danger. He saw a puzzle, a friend, a joke worth finishing. And somewhere, deep in the folds of reality, the unifying equation rested peacefully, solved at last, not by precision, but by the beautiful madness of a human who never knew he wasn't supposed to.